Here is a terrifying new horror game where you are trapped in a hotel with a serial killer. You play as a true crime TV crew and you're filming a documentary on H.H. Holmes. Think of this game like an interactive horror movie. It's from the people who did Until Dawn and The Quarry.
Something is watching my dog. What the fuck? That is big. I just looked above the tree.
Cümle Müslüman. De la ilahe illallah de içeride. Ha, gittin. Sok. Su. Aslan benim hani.
You are not stronger than Christ. You are not stronger than Christ. Get over here, Dad. You are not stronger. No, you are not stronger than Christ. No, you're not stronger. You are not stronger than Christ. That is sword of the Spirit. You are not stronger than Christ. You are not stronger than Christ.
Caution before I actually show you this picture, because this story is true. This is the police sketch of who has been named as the Cape Intruder. All of this dates back to 2005 in Cape Elizabeth, Maine, where there was a person who looks like this, who was reportedly breaking into people's homes and watching them sleep. Like, people described that they would wake up, right, in the early mornings, and the first thing they would see was this man standing in their room, and the second they saw him, he would just bolt, like run out of the house. He never killed anybody, he never stole anything, he just like watched people. And the last recorded break-in was around February 2006 when he suddenly seemed to stop, and they never caught this guy. What's ironic and kind of disturbing about the photo is that he is a watcher, and it almost feels like when you're looking at it, he's watching you. And as always, if you're loving Creep Time, make sure to go follow on Insta.
Never go down Evangeline Road, Louisiana. 2015, a group of urban explorers go searching for a local legend. This creature is said to be the spawn from a satanic ritual performed by a group of outcast circus performers in the late 1900s. They were deep in the woods and night was fast approaching, so they decided to set up camp. But it's what happened when one of the explorers went to pee that sends shivers down my spine. It was way darker than normal that night. The man walked about 10 feet from the fire and behind a tree. But when he turned around to go back to camp, everyone was gone, and the woods was completely silent. He called up a friend to tell him what had happened so that if he doesn't come back, someone would know why. When the Rangers got to the campsite, the scene was horrific. Blood and body parts were everywhere. What happened to the explorers, and why didn't he tell his friend that the others were dead?
The Callisto Protocol is so violent, it's not releasing in Japan at all. Basically, the developers of the Callisto Protocol and the CERO, which is the Japanese version of the ESRB, could not reach an agreement. The ratings board said that you guys need to heavily censor this game or you can't release it here. So the developer said, okay, we won't. Honestly, I take my hats off to the devs. They refused to compromise on their artistic vision for the game. In that same breath though, I feel really bad for Japanese gamers who were excited for this, but hopefully they can still find a way to play. I cannot wait to cover this game when it comes out.
Yes, I was watching this show on Netflix called Unsolved Mysteries, and by the way, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend watching it, especially some episodes are completely crazy and out of this world. On season 2 of Unsolved Mysteries, there's actually an episode called Tsunami Spirits, and you guys, it is super creepy, y'all. On this episode, it talks about the 2011 tsunami that happened in Japan. Now, I remember listening and hearing about it, but I never really understood and realized how many people actually lost their lives. 20,000 people lost their lives, and till this day 2,800 people are still missing. That tsunami affected a lot of people, and a lot of people lost their lives. And you can see in the episode of the tsunami spirits, they actually speak about after the tsunami, a lot of spirits were just wandering around thinking that they were still alive. This is where it gets really crazy. At one point of the episode, they talk about the after tsunami effect. There was a lot of spirits wandering around, and a lot of cab drivers would pick up these people and would pick them up, talk to them, and once they realized, when they dropped them off at their destination, they were nowhere to be found. The video that I'm about to show you is a cab driver who actually caught this on camera. I think he was talking to a lost spirit or a lost soul that lost her life in the tsunami. Watch this, y'all. You can see here the taxi driver speaks and greets somebody that he assumes is a living person. The door opens and shuts wide open by itself. He continues to drive, assuming that he's just taking on a regular person. Pay close attention to the middle seat of the cab. You can see what looks like a shadow of a young girl appearing and disappearing throughout the cab ride. You can see a more clear vivid of her face features. Let's take a closer look on how she looks. You guys believe that this taxi driver caught a lost soul wandering around? Let me know in the comments down below.